I have a thread that runs through my life, and I discovered that that thread also runs through UU. UU works to create equity in the country and within the congregation, and security for all people. And I've learned that this is where I can fulfill my thread in my life. Having been raised in the hilltop community of Tacoma, I was raised with brown, black, yellow, white, black people, and that has become my thread. I want equity not only for myself, but for other people. UU gives me a community to do that very thing. I have given what I can give. I invite other people to give what they can give, simply because this gives you the privilege of becoming part of a community that works not only for you and your security and your growth, but for the world as a whole. So please consider giving to the Capital Campaign, because it will help give you a safe house to live in.
Thank you, Lee. Hi, I'm Barry. I'm Barry Zicker. I'm the chair of the Capital Campaign. And I'm here to give you kind of a brief update. You might notice I'm wearing a goofy hat. It's cold in here. We want to get warm. Yeah, well, yeah. This morning, Reverend Mary it was a beautiful service. Thank you. During the meditation, she asked us at one point to listen. Do you hear that? See that? That one little piece of paper. We have one furnace going. We used to have 4. That furnace is hanging on by a thread, and we need to replace it. That's one of the big pieces of this Capital Campaign. Let's go ahead and, hey, how many people do we have online? 17, all right. Just a show of hands, how many of you have not contributed to the Capital Campaign yet? Okay, excellent, you're my audience.
Yes, when I get home.
When you get home. I know, this has been a crazy time of year, a crazy year. It's been heavy lift for all of us. It was really nice to be here today in this sanctuary, this refuge. And we need to keep our refuge strong so that we can be strong and we can bring our light out into the community. And part of that means we need to step up and keep this place fixed up and working. So let's go to the first slide, I think is just funding our future. And let's go to the second one and I'll show you where we're at. Okay. So those of you in the room, if you have your phones, you can scan that QR code and you can do it right now. We are, as of this morning, almost at $450,000. Now, George Lanning, his incredibly generous gift, gave us $500,000 of that. So that was really good, or $250,000 of that, and that was a really good start. We have had 86 contributions so far that represent 125 of the members of OUUC. And I know we got close to 300, so we should be able to close this out before the end of the year. And frankly, that's my goal. So that's the status of the Capital Campaign. Before we move to the second half of this, are there any questions? Any online, any questions?
Thanks for making it easy, Barry.
And if you go online, there are links. We even have paper forms in I almost said the foyer. didn't I? I was telling somebody about how the church used to be before we expanded just minutes ago. In the Commons, we have a form you can fill out and hand off to Darlene if you would like. Are there any online questions? Any?
It does not look like it.
All right. Then I'm going to finish the capital campaign portion of this, and we can move on to Reverend Eric Ness, I believe.
I mean, I turned off her video, so she may be able to speak, but able to hear us. We can try it. Or is Eric going first?
Is that you next? This is going to retire that debt completely. We will never have to go back and paying it out of the operating budget. The first year, it will account for, I believe it was in the neighborhood of $4,000 a month, and then we'll have paid off a personal loan that a member has given us. And for the next 5 years or 4 years after that, it will pay down $3,000 a month. So basically, it will retire the debt completely. It'll just come out of this reserve fund instead of out of our monthly checks, our monthly bills. So.
shortest member on the board. So, I have the stool. So please ask questions you have through chat. We can post that, and if we have questions here in the sanctuary, I'd like to take them now. Reverend Mary has a microphone that she will share with you. Jeff, do you have any comments that you'd like to make?
I can just follow up a little bit with Linda Seltzer on the, I can follow up just a little bit. With Linda Seltzer's question. Linda, if you look at the online, there's a link to the frequently asked questions. And on page 6 of that, there's a discussion of how this would, the part of the revenue raised, or money raised from the capital campaign would be used to pay off existing debt. And there's two options. One is to have a reserve fund out of which you pay it. The other is to pay it off in a lump sum, or part of it off in a lump sum. With a key bank loan, there is a modest penalty because they will get their interest. They want to get their interest whether we pay it off early or whether we pay it off later. And economically, it's probably doesn't make that big of a difference as to which way we go, because if we raise the money, put it in reserve fund, we might not be earning a whole lot of interest on it, but we'd have to make that calculation. But anyway, as it comes out, on the key bank loan, we're paying $2,767 a month, or a total of $33,000 a year. So in the first year, if we were raise all the money, we would save $43,000 in our operating budget, and subsequent years we would save $33,000 in our operating budget because we wouldn't be paying the debt service.
Other questions that you might have? Please raise your hand.
We have nothing online or in the chat.
No questions? Are there any comments that anyone in the audience would care to make about the plan that we've developed? I can say that the board worked really hard at developing a comprehensive plan to address a lot of issues that had been lingering around for a lot of years. And while this financial picture, this campaign that we're on looks like a really big number, it is based on really sound thinking. And once we get through this, in a few years, this congregation as a whole is going to be in a very better financial position than it ever has been in the past. And we will have a firm, well-preserved, well-cared-for community in warmth and comfort. So this is a good plan to support. It's based on a lot of hard thinking, a lot of hard planning, and great administration. Barry? And cool in the summer. Yeah, cool in the summer. Reverend Mary, would you care to say anything?
So just to close out, I want to offer my gratitude to the board. This is the fourth board that I'm working with now, and all of the boards during my time here have really been intentional about living into this governance change that happened some years ago and without a settled minister was a little bit hard to live into. Lots of discussions about roles and authority. And this board in particular has paid a lot of attention to what is it that will help our future be more solid. What is it that will help with the future of our congregation and living out our mission? And so just thank you to the board members, past and present, for your good work in holding the health and justice work of this congregation as we move forward. So thank you all and happy holidays.